All right, Tuesday night heating up quick here in the Cycle Source studio. Good to see you guys coming in. New Brockton in the house, in from the Philippines, right on. San Francisco Bay Area checking in. Dennis, what's up? South Alabama, Dothan. My goodness, that's down in Brother Barry's land. Hello from Aberdeen, New Jersey. I didn't know there was an Aberdeen, New Jersey. I knew about South Dakota. Hey, great show coming up tonight. John Bug Killer Baker, what's up, buddy? Coast to Coast going live in just 8 minutes. Going to be a fantastic show tonight. 2 killer guests. As always, Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter hosting the show. It's going to be killer. Get ready. Get something cold to drink. Kick back. Don't worry about politics. That shit will be there when we get around to it. Going live, 7 minutes, 50 seconds. Now, David Crum says North Jersey. I understand that they don't call a pork roll in North Jersey. Either way you like it, fancy ham or whatever the hell it is, I love it. Kearney, Nebraska, Mississippi Coast, what's up? Hope you guys are all dried out down there, man. You had a rough season. Did you catch Sugar Bear on the Rick Fearless show? No, man, I saw that coming up and I had too much going on. Tony Tello, I hope it was a great show. Bear's a killer conversation, always good. Always good to sit and listen to him, especially with Rick. I can't even imagine what that show was like. Great show here tonight, coast to coast. 6.5 minutes, we're going live. Don't go anywhere. Remember, throw up your hometown. Hit the like and share button. Help us pass this along. Get it out to all our friends there at the Choppertown Studios, Choppertown Nation. Always supporting this stuff strong. We love them. Everyone over at the Cycle Source family. Stick around, just 6 minutes. We're going live. All right, Kara Andrea in the house. Rob Nussbaum here with us. David Crum, that's it. Taylor ham. I keep forgetting that. I like the good old-fashioned pork roll. Nothing like a breakfast sandwich. A croissant, an egg, and cheese with pork roll. Yeah, buddy. Hey there from Phoenix. What's up, Missy? Great show coming up. 4 minutes. We're counting down. Get ready. Rob, did I say Taylor wrong? Taylor ham? Taylor, did I say it like I was from Pittsburgh? Taylor. Get it right. It's pork roll, damn it. Pork roll. don't know what it's like where you guys are at, but here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the bottom fell out. The temperature dropped so much I had to go get a little heater for the mobile studio tonight. I hope you guys can't hear it in the back, but man, it got cold already. Leaves are changing. This is bullshit. We didn't even have a riding season. 3 minutes. 3 minutes on the countdown clock. I'm just rambling on at this point. Hey, everybody from Chopper Town. Get ready for a great show. All right, well, we started a little bit late tonight, so I guess there's no harm in jumping ahead. Let's get this one out of stable, get it up and running, and start this week's Coast to Coast. Get ready, here we go.
Hey everybody, Chris Simmons here. Welcome to Coast. It's been a crazy long, not that long of a week, 7 days. Anyway, everything's cool here. I'm so looking forward to this show tonight. Thank you to Cyclosource Media Group for bringing us back here again. And I'd like to bring on my co-host, Mr. Michael Lichter. Here we go.
Hey there, Chris. Good to be here.
Mike. How you doing?
Excellent. Look at this. No ice machine this week. No sleighing.
How's your shoulder? So you went to physical therapy.
Yeah, it hurts like hell. But they said another 2 weeks, I could maybe start lifting my arm up.
Oh my gosh. You mean you can't even lift your arm up? Like this?
No, that's not happening on this thing. Not yet.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and watching us tonight. You had nothing else to watch tonight, right? I mean, Mike, you want to have a debate?
We'll have our own little debate here. There you go.
Anyway, but today's it's gonna be a great show. We have some really cool people on. Leanna, you know Leanna, I guess. I don't really. You've met her before. And,
well, mechanics is the subject, right? Lady mechanics.
Yeah, women who wrench, the girls who wrench, girls who ride and wrench, and then we have our wonderful friend Athena Ransom, who I don't know. You might have introduced me to her because you've introduced me to like everybody I know pretty much. So,
it's. Liana I actually met through Kristen Lassen, who's another mechanic, but she's right now being a photographer. That's was my key into Liana, and she has her own website going promoting women mechanics, which is really cool. And then I thought it was a great idea that the two of us came up together, having Liana, who's about 22, I believe. She's going to be 23 soon.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and Athena on the other end. And having somebody that's older and somebody younger and a little more experienced, less, and also generationally to hear the difference of what it was like getting going in mechanics as a woman at the two different times.
Yeah, so, Grandma Athena is coming on with Grandma Cris. And
but I think it's cool that we'll start with Liana then, because we hear a little bit of her story since it's real recent.
Sure. And then we'll talk to Chicky. We'll bring Chicky in after the commercial break and talk about some stuff that Cannonball, things that we did together, and then talk about what she's up to. So if we want to go ahead and Are you ready to bring Leanna in?
Hey
Let's
guys,
bring her in.
I
All
need
right, let's get to
I
it.
need just a minute here. Something happened
Okay.
with the guest feed, so just carry
It's
on
okay.
for a second. I'll get right
Well,
back with you.
we'll hang out some more.
We can hang out definitely. Well, I'm excited to have Chicky. I call her Chicky and Athena on because we met, I think in 2010 before maybe in Sturgis or somewhere, and then we did the Motor Maids convention together. We rode to Cody with, I think Gloria Struck was like only 83 when we did that ride with her from Mitchell. I think we ended up out in Cody, Wyoming. And that was pretty amazing. And then Athena, I invited her to be my mechanic on the Cannonball in 2010. So we had the first all-female crew on the Cannonball in 2010. Team
Off in that
Effie.
white van and Athena driving it and racing down the road. She held her own. It was kind of cool to see her helping the other riders and other mechanics even. So she was really right there on that trip.
Yep. And the first 4 days, it was all us girls. And then my husband came in on day 4. And I was always like, oh, it's Charlie's Angels because there's Charlie with all the girls,
Oh,
but it was so fun having her. Oh, you ready?
Yeah, we're good to go. Sorry about that.
No worries.
We can talk forever. Okay, let's bring Leanna in. Here we come.
One hand.
Hey there, how's it going?
Good.
Hi,
How you guys
Leanna.
doing? Hey.
There you are. Okay.
I love your background there. That's some pretty cool motorcycle setup you got there. Where are you sitting?
Thank you. This is the garage.
The garage. Cool. Tell us about it. Tell us what's in there.
So we've got my race bike right behind me. And my boyfriend's street bike, and then a couple bikes that I'm working on. Yeah.
And so this is a shop that you also work on customer bikes. Is that right?
Yeah, occasionally I do. I am trying to get my own thing running on the weekends. I do a lot of bike work on like friends, family, anyone really.
Well, you should probably explain that you had worked in a dealership, in a motorcycle dealership for quite a while. And then I guess you're into big trucks. And what are you doing? Heavy equipment?
Oh, wait, you work on monster trucks?
No, that would be awesome. I'll work on anything. But I was working at a motorcycle dealership. And then recently I took a job as an apprentice for heavy equipment. So this is something I do more on the weekends now, where I work on bikes. I work on my bikes, friends' bikes. And yeah.
Jeez, that's
Well,
awesome.
Based on the photos you sent, you clearly have been into motorcycling for quite a while. So I guess that started with racing. Why don't you tell us how you got attracted to motorcycles, how you got on one? We could probably bring up some of those racing shots
there
at the
you
same
go.
time.
Totally.
Yeah. So when I was 14, I started riding dirt bikes and I became like obsessed with motocross. And then my dad happened to get a Harley and he would take me on the back and I just fell in love with riding Harleys, whatever it was, dirt bikes, racing. The race bug hit me hard and I just love, everything about it. That's all I ever want to do is race.
So were you in middle school at the time?
Yeah, I think I had just gone into high school when I was 14. Yeah.
So
I was
what did all your girlfriends think about this passion of yours?
Really.
It was definitely different, but I actually had some really cool friends and they would watch the races with me. So that was cool.
Did any of them join you?
Yeah.
In riding, no, it was scary for the average like 14-year-old girl. But I did get a couple of my friends to learn on my dirt bikes, and that was really fun just to have friends that were so open to it that they would learn from me. So that was cool.
That's pretty cool.
Did you have any other, high school, teenage passions other than motorcycling, or was all your attention in bikes?
Well, motorcycling was one thing, and then wrenching on them was another. So I pretty early on too, I started working on them and just tinkering around with things taking things apart, seeing how they worked. So
I think things have changed since I was a 14-year-old girl, because I was out riding with the boys.
It makes me wonder though. You were a lot of girls at that age are trying to get attention by doing themselves up in clothing and makeup and all different ways. And what kind of attention did you get on the bike? Did you notice that at all?
No, not really. Most guys are not really into, girls that want, like, all they think about is motorcycles and they have grease in their hair. Like, no one's
What?
about that.
Wait a minute. Come on. No.
But actually, like, in my area of where I went to school and everything in northern New Jersey, I didn't really know many people that were into motorcycles. So I was kind of the odd one out. And I feel like that's changing, which is a really good thing, is that a lot more people are, seeing why motorcycles are awesome and getting out there and learning how to ride. So
I love seeing girls ride in the dirt. I've gone to a lot of dirt track races over the years in Sturgis and places, and in Milwaukee, seeing all the girls riding with the guys and stuff. It's really, really cool, really fun. So what else? What's this one picture of you riding in the snow? Did you do some ice racing?
I did, yeah. I went to Milwaukee last year and the year before, and I was fortunate enough to be able to borrow a friend's bike, and they took me out on the frozen lake. And that was my first time ever doing it, actually. And it was so much fun. Man, the way that those tires hook up on ice is amazing. And I fell in love with it. I'd love to do it again this year.
That's so cool. So tell us about how you went to school. You went to MMI, right? Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. How old were you, and how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
So I believe I was probably 17 when they came to my school, MMI, during like a college fair. And I remember seeing on the brochure, like the dirt bikes and the motorcycles. And I was like, oh my God, there's a school for me. And I was just talking with the guy, and like, it was pretty much as soon as I saw that brochure though, that I knew that's what I wanted to do. And that's where I wanted to go. I ended up taking a little break after high school from motorcycle stuff. I went to college to get an associate's degree, but I never stopped working on bikes. I just didn't pursue it like as a career. And then after I got that degree, I was like, listen, Mom, Dad, like, this is what I need to do. Please, I got my associates. Just please let me go down to Florida and pursue this. And thankfully they let me. And then, that next semester, I was out in Orlando learning how to wrench on bikes professionally.
Wow, cool parents. I like that. Support your kids, right? Whatever they want to do, if they have dreams. That's awesome.
David Crum is wondering, where were you racing those dirt bikes? What kind of tracks, or what states, what cities?
Yeah, so I go all over the place. When I was in Orlando, I would race pretty much whatever race was going on. I would do Tampa motocross, Orlando Motocross Park. I would do the Florida Trail Riders races. That's what that one picture was from. Up here, there's the ECEA series, hair scrambles, that I will start doing. I know a lot of races like kind of got canceled due to COVID, so I haven't really been out recently. But next season, I'm ready to do ECEA series, which is Pennsylvania, New York, some New Jersey, but like southern New Jersey. And what else? District 6 hair scrambles, Englishtown motocross.
Cool.
Love that track.
Oh, there's a shot. Tell us about the Girls Who Ride Now. Is that something you started, and you have a website also?
Yes.
So what is that about?
I started the Girls Who Ride when I was like 15 because I didn't really know any other girls who rode, and I just wanted to find like a community of girls like me. So I went to, like Twitter, I think it was at the time, and I started kind of like a community on there, and it just grew and grew and grew. And I really didn't expect like the reach it would have. And now we're on Instagram. We got a website. There's like over 30 girls that I sponsor, which are those girls there that you're scrolling through, and they're from all over, and they're so awesome. They race like all over the country. There's one from Australia. So it's a lot of fun. And these girls, like even girls that I've never seen before, we're all like best friends, and it's really a community of support and just girls that understand because they ride too.
That's great. Yeah, women supporting other women. Here you go, right? It's a great example. That is so awesome.
Chris, I'm sorry I interrupted you with that online question, but we should get back to the whole thing behind her getting into mechanics. I mean, that is like what got to you? What happened? What was going on in that brain of yours?
So I think it was my KX 125. I actually blew it up. And when that happened, I really wanted to know like what I had to do to fix it, why it happened. Like I was so interested in the mechanical aspect of it, the gears that were turning, like everything that was going on. I remember the mechanic actually brought me the broken parts, which were the piston and the crankshaft. And I remember just like playing with them and thinking that it was so cool. So after that, I went to a shop in my hometown, Cycle in Dover, New Jersey. And I pretty much begged the owner. I was like, please, like, give me a job, teach me, I want to learn. And right then and there, he gave me a job, and I was lucky enough to learn from those guys. And they work on old Harleys, choppers. We were splitting like big twins, and it was awesome. So I'm really lucky that I got to do that.
Wow, it sounds like you can work on just about anything, because if you can work on the Harley and Ducati and Hondas, I mean, what is your favorite bike to work on? Do you have something that you really like to work on? Some that maybe you don't like to work on?
I love to work on race bikes. I love race engines and just how they work and how people can modify them to make them so fast. I think that's the coolest thing ever. Things I don't like to work on, I can't really think of any, honestly.
Probably the really dirty ones, right? People bring them in, they're all greasy and dirty. Well, that's cool. There's a hand shifter right there. Yeah.
Wow. You know, Chris, what do you think? Maybe we should bring Athena on before the break so we could start talking about the differences, because Liana's talking about becoming a mechanic in just the last few years, and she could get it.
Okay, let's just take our break early. Let's take our break now. I don't want to stop it once we start talking. It's going to be too hard to stop.
Well, wait a minute. We may not be able to stop.
Like a train going through it. Okay, well, let's take a break, and then we'll come back. This is so fun. See you. All
righty, sounds good.
Hey, this is Chris from Cycle Source Magazine, and I want to thank you for watching the flagship show of the Source Media Group, Shop Talk. We go live with Shop Talk every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's only one of the many programs we offer from Source Media. In addition to that, Wednesday nights we have Cannonball Chronicles that looks into the life and times of Cannonball racers as they prepare for this year's Motorcycle Cannonball. Thursday night we have Bike Night Live that dives into the culture of bike night, the food, the bikes, and the fun of hanging out with friends, and we even have some live entertainment. Sunday morning, Cyber Swap kicks off, where we have a sort of home shopping network approach to motorcycle swap meets, and we bring guys on that have parts to sell live right there. All of this in addition to our staple programs, which are Grease and Gears TV, live on the street from the events and rallies, Grease and Gears Garage, and Grease and Gears Garage Roadshow. We look forward to bringing more of this type of programming to you from the home of Two Wheel Entertainment, the Source Media Group.
All right, we're back. Here we are. Okay, let's bring her in. Let's bring in our friend Athena Chicky Ransom. Yeah, looking good, girl. There you are.
Hey, Athena.
Hey, everybody.
Boy, I haven't seen you in the flesh in a long time. It's been a few years.
It has been a while.
Yeah, welcome to grandmahood. How's it feeling?
Yeah, it's Mimi around here. Actually, no grandma, no grandma.
What are you? Are you grandma? I'm gamma, like a ray of gamma-ness. What are you?
I'm Mimi.
Mimi. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about our grandmother stuff. Mike's not there yet. He's not a grandfather yet.
I'm not even close. I'm way too young for that.
Hey, you know what? You
In that
don't
category.
know. It happens like overnight.
I'm just
Okay.
not in that category.
Don't
Although
say
I
that.
must say, my daughter's been showing me there's a whole website dedicated to doodles and babies. Literally, this baby that's growing up with doodles. And they're like,
What?
the baby doesn't know that it's not a dog, and the dog doesn't know it's not a baby. And Kira's getting way too into this. I'm a little nervous. I keep saying, Kira, they're cute, but don't get any,
Hey,
don't jump
tell
on
her
it
that.
too quick.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's talk about Athena now. I know you've known her longer than I have. How did you guys meet, Mike? How did you and Athena meet?
Gee, I don't know. Athena's part of the whole probably the biker build-offs or the kind of craziness of the Discovery Channel years. What do you think?
I actually remember I met you at I think it was the World Show. You were wandering through, taking pictures of some bikes. You were looking, and then I met Cris at the Willie's Tropical Tattoo in Daytona, Biketoberfest.
Right.
That was the first time I met her. Yeah.
Probably when I brought her down there in a convertible.
That was exactly
Well,
it.
wait a minute. That's a long story.
Yeah, that was a long story.
We rented a convertible. And then Mike was shooting us. Hey, can I hang out of the back of your convertible while you girls, my friend and I was down? I think that must have been 2003 or something. I
It was
don't know.
before I fell out of the truck.
Yeah, before you fell out of the truck, you were hanging out the back of the convertible, and I think
And
I
you were
was
a little
holding your
nervous.
leg.
You were a little nervous
When?
when I was hanging out of the back of the convertible.
Well, who wouldn't be? I was thinking of your poor wife, thinking, "Oh my God, she's going to kill him if we don't kill him. She's going to kill him."
Anyway, so
Anyway,
that's,
I met Chicky. I think you introduced us, Mike, as usual. You said, "Hey, you guys have to meet." I remember that.
There
It
you
was
go.
at Willie's Tropical Tattoo, and then we met again in Sturgis, Chicky, that year, and then this is 2010, and then we went to the Motor Maids convention together with Miss Gloria. Do you remember?
Yeah, at Willie's, we actually talked about the fact that we were both motor maids, and then we did all that good stuff. We did Motor Maid convention. That was the first time that I ever met Margaret Wilson and her husband Mike. That was incredible.
what an incredible couple.
Yeah.
Oh, they were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and it was really good because it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I see in the camera, and I got to see the life that I live through your camera all the time, like Michael, like yours in the magazines, and Cris when you had your magazine. So it was pretty cool to meet two people who were legendary in my book. It was neat.
Well, I was just so impressed with your wrenching ability and all the stuff you were doing, the bike bells. I thought, I wanted to have a woman mechanic on the first Cannonball. I wanted to make a statement that, I'm riding, but I also have these women behind me. So Laura Clock was my crew chief, who was a wonderful, just became an amazing friend as well as you have. And you became my mechanic, and we did it, and having you along was just like, you were my rock. There you are. I mean, every day you're like, okay, here's what you're going to do. It was like every day I get the little pep talk, and
that was a really cool idea too. The 4 women together. I mean, that was an awesome idea.
I want to have you back on with, to talk about that more with Laura too someday. We'll do a little, because it's our 10th year reunion from the 2010 Cannonball. And there's pictures in here we're going to show. There's one of you riding that's amazing. I love riding with you, number one. We did that ride to Cody with Gloria and Lori and Laura Clock, and it was just an amazing ride. You're just so fun to be on the road with. But anyway, and we didn't break down, so we didn't need your skills. But
yeah, we helped many on the Cannonball, and that's your job, is to go in and make sure your rider is happy, healthy, and safe, and be able to finish the race. It doesn't really matter where you finish, as long as you finish the race. First is the way you want to go.
Picture, but there's Laura and
Laura
friend
and
Toast.
Toast. Yeah. Wow.
Toast. Toast Acacia Boyd. Her real name is actually Toast. Her parents were hippies, and they named her Toast. But she wasn't toasted. She was very straight, actually. She's still a good friend of mine. So that was a great. And then you got, just like I said, having you girls there was just, I still remember. I get all teary when I think about it, because it was just such a big part of my life, and having to be able to share it with you guys. That's
a good picture. I remember that photo. I remember that day. That's pretty crazy. My husband.
Yeah, you jumped in the water. You jumped in the ocean. You never seen the Pacific Ocean before.
Yeah, he told me. Go ahead.
That's when you brought the water from the Atlantic with you too, right?
Yes, I brought the water in the little jar like Effie Hotchkiss, and we got to the ocean. I poured it in, and I didn't pour it all. I have half of it I kept half. I mixed the 2 oceans together in a jar in my desk here somewhere. And
awesome.
Anyway, but thank you again for doing that. I mean, there's the end. There's Santa Monica Pier. Yeah, that was a happy day. And you're soaking wet.
Wet. I was a drowned rat that day. It was fun. That was one of the best times of my life, for sure. And I was glad, because just like Liana, I started it a little differently, more in the biker side of it, where it was less just the regular motorcycle, dirt bike upbringing. So when I got to the Cannonball, my no fearness made sure that, I just jumped right in. And working on that bike is different for anyone, because it's a total lost oil system. It's the beginning of where Harley Davidson started, pretty much. And that was an incredible journey, and I enjoyed it so much. I learned so much from Steve Hunsinger and Dale Waxler, and they just kind of took me under their wing and let me watch them and learn from them. And if I had questions, and they didn't force themselves into what I was doing, they just let me do my thing. And it was cool, because we had an amazing time, and the camaraderie, even though it was a huge contest, was so awesome to see everyone swapping parts that were 100 years old, and you can't get this, but I got this, and I'll trade you this, and go pick them up. And boy, we had a great time. And whether it was 4:00 in the morning working in the trailer with Dale Waxler, and he's working on everybody's bikes and fixing them all, and then he's up bright and early riding. Michael's on the back of Carl's big orange FLH. Yeah, and you're taking pictures of everybody in some of the most grueling places, the roads and the terrain. It was incredible. I wouldn't trade that for the world at all.
Including you driving the truck.
Oh yeah,
you drove, and you were my driver too. You drove my sweep truck, and then they ran out of. They didn't have enough sweepers, so then Lonnie Isom Jr. asked you if you and my crew would come out and be the last sweepers. So you actually ended up picking up people and helping people along the way, and which was way better than sitting at a hotel all day, right, Chicky?
Yeah, we were called the Road Angels. If we could fix you, we would. If not, you ended up on the Reaper's trailer. So that was pretty cool.
See, we started the Reaper thing. People are still calling him the Reaper. Now he wears the costume. It's crazy. Yeah, the Reaper.
That's
the Reaper's
cool.
gonna come and get you. Yeah,
I'd love to get into the mechanics a little bit. I want to hear some of that history, but maybe we should bring Liana on at the same time. So going to compare notes. Is that okay?
Sure.
Kind of get into Chicky's history with mechanics and wrenching.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Can we get Liana on there?
Hello, sorry, we lost power for a second. There's a big storm over here.
All right, you're back just in time. You know, we're bringing you on because I wanted to start talking to Athena about the mechanics, and I'm curious. I'll start off with Athena since we already asked Liana the question. How did you get interested in wrenching? Like, how did you go from riding to wrenching and wanting to? What was that like? And also, kind of describe the time. You know, the time in history, what year it was, but also what that was like for a woman in mechanics, so we can compare notes with Liana.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a unique and different story than Liana's. It's totally on the other side. It almost started as a joke. When I was about 15 or 16, I was a troubled child in the neighborhood, and I got a job as a bartender in a bar. And the local officers thought that was a better place for me than out running around causing trouble. So I was on a path to self-destruction at an early age. My dad couldn't reel me in too much, and he rode motorcycles and kind of said, you know, you're going to come over here and be where I am, and I'm going to keep an eye on you, and you can work, and you want to be in the real world. Here it is. This is my real world. And so I was dating a man who rode a motorcycle, and every Friday I would pull his bike out. Well, actually, to start, I would wait for him to bring his bike out of the garage on Friday. I would wash it. I would wax it. I would get gussied up, and he would let me on the back, and I would make sure that everything was clean. We had a good Friday night. We had a good time through the weekend, and I always remembered to pick up my passenger pegs when I got off. Otherwise, I was in trouble. It was the early 80s. It was a whole different thing. And he became my first husband. But while we were dating, one of our friends at a party said, "You want to ride my bike?" And I said, "I don't know how to ride a motorcycle." And he had this 1968, I'll never forget, it was the year I was born, 68 Sportster with a 12 or 14 over girder front end and drag bars. And he said, "Go ahead, take my bike for a ride." And they all laughed. And he said, "No woman of mine is ever going to ride a motorcycle." And I said, "Okay, I'll take it for a ride." And he started it up. He took a garden hose out of his back pocket, stuck it in the gas tank, siphoned some fuel, put it in the carburetor air cleaner cover, and then kick-started this bike to life. And he said, "Go ahead." And I got on. And as soon as I was ready to take off, they showed me where everything was. He hopped on the back, put his feet on the foot pegs, and he said, "If you wreck my bike, I'll kill you." And he hung on, and I had to take him around the parking lot on this giant motorcycle. And I never forget. And they thought it was funny. And so then about a year later, we had an accident, and I was on the back of my guy's bike, and the insurance was going to pay for a bike. And I asked the lawyer, you know, let me have my money. I went and bought him a brand new 1986 Heritage Softail and said, "What are you going to do with the wrecked bike?" And it was a rigid shovel head. And he said, "If you could fix it, you could keep it." And no one in my family was ever mechanically inclined. And so they put a jar on the workbench and said, every time you ask a question in the garage and use the tools, you have to put $1 in the jar. So they thought they were going to go to Daytona. I was going to pay for a week of fun. They had like $33 at the end of the journey.
Good for you.
They threw the gauntlet down. So, you know, you're talking, what year was that? Around 85 or so?
Yeah, when I started riding with him, it was like 1983. And, you know, I was trained. It was a whole different life. I mean, in one area of lifestyle, a more conservative side of it, like you're a woman who wanted to ride her little Honda Rebel or whatnot, and some women who rode Harleys, it was accepted more around. But in the biker culture where I came from, it was a very, I don't like the word chauvinistic, but it was a man's world, because motorcycle culture started. Men came back from the war, they got on motorcycles, and the women were already riding, doing things while they were in the war. So, you know, they kind of shared that, and there was a mutual respect for the conservative woman, you know. And then I found out things like about Dot Robinson. She used to race and beat the boys and then go and put a dress on, her lipstick, and then go get her trophy. So, I mean, I'm all about being feminine. I like my girly stuff. I do my fingernails to hide the grease from when I work on the motorcycles. And, I like my makeup and do my hair once in a while, but I'm like Liana too. I get greasy, but that's how I started in motorcycles. And back then our choppers were choppers. Like there's a lot of categories of now it's a bobber or this or that, but they're all choppers because you had to cut up parts to make them. We didn't have aftermarket parts. There was Gary Bang and Drag Specialties was like 12 pages and there was a lot, so yeah, it was a crazy thing. So we cut everything up and we made things. And being a girl, I'm sure Liana knows, our brains are wired a little differently. So we think outside the boy box.
I'd say
we'll say it like that. It's not outside the box, but guys think one way, we think another way. So it's kind of cool when you can meld the two, but that's evolving now. Back then you couldn't, it was I don't know if I could say it, but it's ass, gas, or grass. No one rides for free. That was
wait a minute. We don't do that anymore.
And you can say chauvinistic because it's the way it was. But you're also talking about the time that Cris had her Harley Women's magazine.
Yes.
And at a time when I was shooting for Easy Riders, when guys didn't want women riding. They didn't think it was their place to be riding a bike. Their place was in the back. And a lot of guys thought that. So it is a very different world you came out of. And so I'm kind of curious how Liana would respond to this whole thing. I mean, Liana, how do you feel about how you came into this world compared to Athena? This world of mechanics and motorcycling.
It was definitely hard for me. I'm like 5 feet tall and I'm really little. So definitely a lot of people have doubted me throughout all of this. But my main thing is just proving everyone wrong. So I don't really listen to or let other people bother me about all that stuff. And that's another reason why I created the Girls Who Wrench, because I want more girls to see that, women of all shapes and sizes are out here doing this. So if it's something that you want to do, don't listen to what other people say or how hard it is or anything like that. Just kind of go for it because you can definitely do it. And you don't have to listen to other people or, go with the stereotypes. You can just do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's great advice. That's really great advice. I've even noticed on Facebook, there are different pages now. There's one page, I think it's just called Women Who Work on Their Bikes, stuff like that. And you see all these women, hey, what kind of carburetor? How did you do this? Where'd you get the kit to rebuild that? And I just like to see everybody's just sharing all this information. And that's one good thing about Facebook pages and Instagrams. I think it's another way that social media does help women support each other, where we wouldn't have had that before unless you knew somebody who knew somebody, and it kind of has brought us all together into this cyber world of helping each other, especially for women, like we just said. So that's
I have a question for all three of you, because I'm wondering, women in motorcycling is the fastest growing segment, but it's still a small part of the whole. Cris, do you have any idea of the ratio of men to women riders?
I don't even know anymore. I mean, it's changed so much.
It's growing, certainly. But I wonder, especially like for Chicky, when she was doing it in the 80s and when you were doing it in the 80s. But so I know in the 70s when I was riding, I thought it was really cool, but it was not a cool thing. It was really uncool, right? Like, why would you ride a shovel that breaks down all the time and oil everywhere and you'd pull up somewhere and people lock their doors because they made assumptions about you, right? So, I mean, I thought it was cool, but the general world did not think it was cool, which made it even cooler for me, right? I wanted to be part of it. And a lot of people felt that way. I'm wondering for you three women, if there wasn't a certain attraction to that this is different. And, it's becoming more normal. Maybe it won't be as cool for you then, but maybe it was even cooler because it was more different in the 80s, for example, with Athena and Cris.
Well, I started riding in mid 70s, actually, late 70s.
Well, is there something to that? That it was just so different and cool?
I think I was just always being myself. I didn't really care what anybody thought. And I mean, I did get, women with little girls would see me at the window of the car and they'd do a little wave and things like that, and men would, oh, where's your husband? He's at home, I mean, whatever. But it has changed a lot, but we've always been writing, during all this history stuff that I've done with my books and things like that. I think it's just, there were certain groups of men that was a little more macho, but then some of them, they came around. I remember one guy telling me one time, he was a club member, and he said, you ride better than most of these guys in this club. And I was like, wow, it was a big compliment, but I think, Athena, I mean, how was it for you? Because it was probably we kind of came out of the same kind of culture, I think, really.
Yeah, and for me, it was a little different. Like I said, I was on a path to self-destruction, and the world, my dad wanted to reel me in. So I learned, um, it was real cool because with the guys I grew up with, I didn't really want to show everybody I couldn't do it. I really wanted to earn everybody's respect and have them accept the fact that I could do this and I didn't need help from anyone. I was smart enough and I knew that the answers were somewhere. I just had to find them. And then there was a proper procedure on how you do things, because safety is a big issue with motorcycles. But like, those people taught me so much about myself. They taught me how to respect myself, how to respect others, how to be kind, how to stand up for what you believe in. And all of that was premised on the motorcycle, the history and the culture, how we lived. We lived different from other people. We would all come together and share food and share good times, where maybe some only chose to do that in their families, or, with people that were like them, where we weren't exactly like that. And they really showed me that how, there is a respect and a camaraderie, and it doesn't have to be a contest all the time, and how you can live peacefully and enjoy the road and the people on it. And that's really what I learned from motorcycles. And that's exciting. Like young women like Liana, I'm so inspired by her and everything, because being that she takes there's Gloria. She takes the approach of I'm going to do this. I have a degree. I have a paralegal degree. I got after learning motorcycles in the School of Hard Knocks. Like, the first time I learned how to work on motorcycles was from watching the guys in the garage, and they let me in the garage. I bought my old man at the time a toolbox. He had a dishwasher and all his tools in there. I bought him some Snap-on tools and started spending some money. I was like 16. I had 3 jobs. I was hustling, doing my thing, tending bar. And, so I went in the garage and I got frustrated at something, and I took the wrench and I threw it across the garage floor. And he said, "Get your little ass out of here right now." And I said, "What?" I said, "I paid for those tools." He goes, "You have no respect. You don't know anything about it. And with no patience, you'll never learn." He said, "Take your ass out there." He said, "If you want to watch, sit on the bucket outside the door." I sat out on that bucket for a year and a half. And I looked at everything they did. And then he let me back in. And for our anniversary, he bought me a part that was actually seized that I got frustrated with, and said, "What'd you learn?" And I said, not to get frustrated and have some respect. And he said, "Okay, try again." So that was a real lesson there. That was hard knocks, no BS. So yeah, it's a little different, but I'm grateful because it makes me who I am, and I appreciate all the things. You guys, I mean, like you, Cris, you got to see a whole side of it through your magazine. You got both sides. Like you said, a guy in a club said you ride really good. I had guys in the
I got
club
the other side of it too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They told me you have to
but
park.
I didn't really care.
Right.
So.
You park down the street. You can't ride with us. You're not allowed. You meet us there. My dad rode with a club. I wasn't allowed anywhere near them. And then one day they had enough respect for me. I had earned it, that they said, "Hey, you can ride back there." And I said, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah, I had that happen to me in Sturgis one year. Some club wanted us to ride with them, and they said, "You got girls riding the back," and we started going, and I went, "Let's go get some gas."
Back of the bus.
He pulled off. He pulled off, and we ditched him.
Well, what does Liana think of all this? We're talking about a different generation.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it actually makes me wish I kind of lived in those times, because they were so different. And the stories that you guys tell, I just kind of wish I was there.
Well, you're making different stories for yourself in different times.
That's how I feel about Gloria, and I can't wait for you to meet her. That's going to be interesting. She is.
I know. We got to hook her up.
They live in New Jersey.
Jersey
girls. That's right. Yeah. Liana has to meet Gloria.
And
we have to work on that.
Between all of us, we know so many incredible people. That is a blessing in itself. I mean, that's what motorcycles do for your heart and your soul. You get to enjoy people. And if you remember, always just give a little of yourself. Be kind to someone else, but always be kind to yourself first. It's important. It really is.
That's right. And you'll have family everywhere, because we take care of each other.
Yep. Speaking of family, how come Liana's not a motor maid?
I
Well,
don't
we're gonna
know.
work on
I
that.
don't
I
know. Have you brought
imagine.
that up? Leon, have you ever
But
heard of them before or now? Or
I will sponsor her. I've already talked to her. She's in.
Yeah.
uh-oh.
I haven't really heard much, but I'm open to it. No
Well, there
problem.
you
I
go.
think you and Gloria can ride out from New Jersey to the next national.
That
New
sounds
Jersey girl.
awesome.
Chicky,
There's
tell
no-
us about your new career. I'm so excited to hear about you're like a movie star now. You're making movies.
Oh
And
my goodness.
tell
So
us about
yeah, that was really an interesting time, and I haven't really been around for about a few months because we lost a good friend of ours, Charlie Bretchel, and he was the man with the plan. That's my brother there. God, I miss
Always.
him. Yeah,
What a
so
shock that was, wasn't it, to all of us?
We miss him.
yeah, and he was I called him a GMF, and he was just a man who brought the world together and places that you couldn't even imagine. Um, yeah, so we did this movie called Rough Boys, and it was the craziest thing. I don't know how to explain the experience other than you couldn't pick a better group of individuals to share something, a project, a dream of one of their own. Like, it was his dream. We all shared in his dream, and I can't wait to see the end result, because Dennis and Sabrina and the kids and Robbie and oh, Big G, so many have to go ahead and finish what's going on with the movie. But it was really a cool thing, because it's this premise of, a story that he told. And if you haven't seen the first movie, Rebel on the Highway, you have to see it. Once you get into the first 3 minutes, you are sucked in, and it is the best movie. You feel like you're just there, and I can't explain it. It is. I
It's a
watched
great
it
shot of Beaner.
Yeah, really.
And we did such a great job on this movie. And as Charlie was going along, him and Dennis, they learned so much from the last movie, and they did so many different things. And Barry and Gypsy, we were in Alabama, and I saw Dana was watching, Dana Peters from Alabama. He was on here. I saw in your little guest there. He was watching us, and the group they were the best hosts. They made sure everybody had everything they needed, anything the crew needed. Barry's crew handled it, and they put all the time and attention. You can tell all the love that went into it. And we had so much fun, and we did riding, and yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
It was, and I can't wait to see it.
I actually read today that it's in post-production. I think they're actually doing some editing on it right now, right? Did you hear anything about that?
And today is my first day back on social media since he actually passed away, because I really couldn't even turn on the computer. It was hard. But I saw something when I was posting a little thing for everybody to watch here, and I'm so proud of just being able to be a part of his dream, because he was a man that he chased me around about 15 years ago at a show in Sturgis and said to me, "You got to do my show." He had a radio show, an internet biker radio show. And everybody said, "Oh, Charlie, he's out there, but he's a good guy." And I went over and I did it, and we became friends. And the day that he got in his accident, he actually left me a message. I had called him, and he left me a message. I listen to it all the time. It's crazy, but it's going to be good. And I'm at least a movie star in his eyes, no matter where he is. So my heart is good with that.
You're always been a movie
rock star.
Yeah, he loves you
he's
for
my
sure.
guy.
And that's never going to go away, And then when the movie comes out, it's going to be just another tribute,
And I did want to say too that that was something that he really, really was passionate about and wanted to inspire in everybody, was to pay attention to our history. And he called it motorcyclism. That was his thing on Chopper Town. You might have seen some of our videos, and his world of motorcyclism and the blues. Can I tell you, he put together 2 blues musicians, Charlie Musselwhite and Benny Turner, and we got to see 2 men who've been playing the blues for 60 years. It was the most incredible thing, and they became part of my family. And I'm just like, I can never tell Charlie, no matter how many years it is, that I can never thank him for all he brought to my life and everyone around me. So it was
cool. He knew, he knows now. I mean, That
Yeah,
doesn't go away.
definitely. Yeah, and he
So
was helping me with some
that's going to
projects.
be
So
great to see that when that movie comes out. And I don't know, do you know any idea when it's going to come out? We'll have to have you come back.
yeah, and I'll make sure that I post it on all the social media because I'm learning how to delegate. I tried to take it all on myself between the shop, the grandbaby, the projects, the horse, the husband, so now I'm learning to delegate at 52. So that means I'm twice Leanna's age on Friday. I'll be 52 years old. And that's what I've learned, how to delegate, because other folks can help you with it. You can't do it all yourself.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad you guys got to meet and get to know each other. And I hope that starts a long friendship.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Another question is that especially with Liana, and I think with Athena as well, that here's two women mechanics that I'm sure that you influence other people that see you, but and Liana has her group, the Girls That Ride. And what is your goal with that? Or not even goal, what are your hopes and aspirations with both the organization and as you see yourself maybe inspiring other women in the years that come? You could both answer that in your own way.
Leanna, go ahead.
I hope to get more girls out there. I know that there's actually a lot of girls who want to ride or want to learn. They don't have the opportunity. They don't know how to get a motorcycle. They don't know how to even start. And I can relate to that actually, because when I was younger, like I probably wanted to start a lot sooner, but it's hard to get started, especially when you're a girl and not many people understand or, are into that stuff. So I want to get more girls into it, definitely. I want girls to see that they have a community. If anyone needs help with their motorcycle, I have a page on that website that they can ask for help. They can ask for advice, like what bike to get. My bike is making this weird sound. What should I do? It's just a place for community and support and help, really. I also sponsor a bunch of girls, and I hope to continue doing that and to make that even bigger, because I want, girls who want to race or want to continue racing. I don't want them to ever feel like they have to give up on their dreams because something in their life is not going right or anything like that. Like, I think we've all been there too with motorcycles, where something's going on and you're like, dang, like, do I have to give this up now? And I don't want girls to be in that position.
It sounds like a lot of this is about breaking preconceptions and breaking barriers. What do you think?
Yeah.
Athena, what about you?
I agree with her. I think it's great that women inspire each other. Like for me, I learned, as I said, it was started as a joke, but I enjoyed the mechanical aptitude that I found that I had with regard to, working on all different things. And I look forward to working with young ladies like her. I'd like to be included in, doing things. I in the past have done, some charity builds that we did with the Chopper Chick crew, Miss Gypsy, Vivian Gypsy Charos, and Joanne Bortles. We've done some builds. I'm going to continue doing that with them. And I'm hoping to bring young ladies like her in also. We did a high school build, some of those girls went on to teach at YO Tech. So inspiration is the key. And it's what girls like Liana are doing that actually matter. They're going to show other individuals, whether it's a guy or a girl or, someone who just isn't sure of themselves. They're going to say, you know what did she say? She's like 5 something and probably 100 pounds soaking wet. So, they look at her and say, wow, that's super cool that she does that. And it's not what you look like on the outside. It's what's in your heart and the passion that you have. I tell everyone, be good at everything you do, whether it's doing laundry, cleaning the toilets, fixing your motorcycle, whatever, just do it. So I look forward to participating and just enjoying it. I can't wait to just hang out with her. She's going to come to Florida and visit. That's the cool part.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
I actually will ask a question, but before you answer it, my question was going to be, when will there be enough women mechanics or when will there be enough women riders? But I have to preface that with an amazing person that we lost a week ago, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but she was asked in 2017 at the Aspen Institute, somebody said to her, when will there be enough female Supreme Court justices? And she pretty much said, well, there's 9 seats. So when there's 9.
That's right. I
But,
remember
and
that.
she was all of 5 foot tall and
Yeah.
so slight and inspired so many,
And
millions
she
of
will,
people.
and she
Really.
will forever, even though she's not
And
with
she
us
will.
anymore.
She really will. But in that vein, I'll continue with the question: when will there be enough? Would you like to see a parity, just equal numbers, so that it's as common that you'll see a bike going down the road? It'd be as common that it'd be a woman as it would be a man, and same thing with mechanics.
Sure. Definitely.
Myself personally, I would like to see every woman who wants the opportunity to learn how to ride, learn how to work on their motorcycles, have that. That's the key thing. I do want to stress, though, that Miss Liana is factory trained and certified. A lot of the ladies like to take on, doing certain things. There are things that are safety related that require a specific torque, a specific procedure. You need to be a certified technician to do that and stay safe. It's fine. Your manual gives you all your critical fasteners on the inside of it. And those things are something that you can stay on top of and turn your wrenches, check your battery connections, things of that nature, learn how to do your own oil. But when it comes down to like even brake pads, to have someone actually teach you that is a professional so that you know the proper procedure, the correct lubricants to use, things that you don't use on brake pads, the different things like that. That's very important. So that's the key to all of that for me. Safety is it. Of course, enjoying and being confident and learning how to handle motorcycles. Once you handle your motorcycle and learn your leverage points, you have that. But I think what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said is, when will there be enough? It's when everyone who dreams of it has the opportunity and it's available. That's what I think. So.
Amen. That's so true.
Part of that, as you said, when all the women that want to do it, but hopefully the barrier will be there that more women will want, that there won't be this barrier of what a woman is supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do.
I think those times are changing. I see so many women doing things, and I'm so happy to see it, especially in the motorcycle world. Because
that's what they call evolution too. That's right. We evolve every year. Another woman opens her eyes and says, wow, I'd like to give that a shot. I'm going to learn how to surf. I've been in Florida my whole life and I don't know how to surf. This year, I'm actually going to learn how to surf. So it's one of those things, but I want to do it. And I didn't want to do it for a long time. So maybe every day another woman wakes up and says, look at that young girl right there. She works in a shop. She has her own shop, because Liana's going to have her own shop really soon. Right?
That's what I'm aiming for.
Well, that's good. You keep that goal in mind, because I have my own shop and some days it's really hard. Some days I have customers who don't trust my professional capacity and the things that I know. But as Cris will definitely acknowledge, we went on the Cannonball and all those men that worked on those antique motorcycles knew all the proper procedures and everything. I still was able to teach them something. I made a tool on the actual, when we were working, and everyone by the end of the run was using my tool because it was something I used, but they were unfamiliar with. And I made it out of a coat hanger and a zip tie. So that's right. And that's every day. So you'll have your own shop. You keep that in your heart. And no matter how hard it gets, just remember. And when they call you sweetie and say, listen, sweetie, all I can say to you is just say, okay, that's right. But just say to him, it's okay. I understand your frustration, but in my professional capacity, that's the information I can give you. And turn around and walk out and leave them thinking about that. And that's it.
Either that or she could have that sound effect Cris just pulled.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to buy that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think this has been so inspiring. I just can't even tell you. I mean, it's awesome that you guys got to meet and just inspiring each other, That, to me, that's what it's all about. And that's really why one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, so we could have a place.
So happy. So happy.
We can exchange ideas and stuff. So, wow. Well, I wish only the best for both of you in the future. And please come back and visit us again, both of you guys.
Will do.
Definitely.
Anything else you want to say to anybody? And then we'll say goodnight.
I should let them know that Jessica Nappy said Leanne is the coolest chick ever. And Lisa Jade said, that's my sister. Walter Crow says hi from the Big Apple. And there's a shout out to Chicky from
Abby Smith.
I love you from Dana Peters and people in from Aberdeen, New Jersey, and Nebraska,
Wow,
Dauphin, Alabama, Milwaukee, Phoenix. So all
Love
over,
it.
people are watching.
that's wonderful.
I just did want to reiterate to everyone the state of the world is a little crazy right now, but share the love in your heart and don't forget, take time, just a small minute for yourself. Be kind
That's right.
to yourself and then be kind to others. It really does matter. And if you do that, the world will be a better place.
Oh, that's perfect, Athena. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for coming again. And like I said, we'll see you somewhere. Chickie
Yeah,
number one.
Leanna, I haven't photographed you yet, so we're gonna have to meet up somewhere, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, that would
Maybe
be
you'd be
really
racing
cool.
down in Daytona sometime. You come out to Sturgis.
For
Right on.
sure. I would love to.
Let's make a
wanna go
powwow.
Yeah. I want to go
And,
to
and I need to photograph you again. It's been too long, Chickie.
Yeah, there
So
you
thank
go.
you both very much.
Yeah, thanks you
Thank you,
guys. And then
Scott.
Mike, let's talk about something with, what are you up to lately? What's your next thing you're going to be doing?
Wow. I'm invited to judge a bike show in Rome, Italy in November, but there's a big question. Can you get to Rome, Italy? And if I get to Rome, Italy, can I get back from Rome, Italy?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm really wondering if that's going to happen. That's November. I have another show in January also in Italy, in Verona, Italy. Unfortunately, one of my favorite trips, and Sean's as well, my son Sean that works with me, is Moon Eyes in Japan, and we're guests there for the last 7 years, and it's been canceled this year. So
Oh my gosh.
they sent me a letter already saying it's on for next year, but nothing in this December. So right now I'm putting all my efforts, editing a lot of old work. I have another big exhibition next year, which will be bigger than this year's show in Sturgis. I shared the gallery with David Ewell and Scott Jacobs, and it was a beautiful show. Next year, I will take the whole gallery. I normally do that every 5 years.
Wow.
And of course, with the COVID, things got delayed a little bit. So I will take the whole gallery next year. I'm working on that and my new website. So people can,
you got a new website. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe people can check it out and tell me what works and what doesn't. I know we still have a lot of work to do on it, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I love going to your website. You just can search for things and I could spend hours on there. Definitely.
Well, I think over the next couple of months, we have a few updates that we just launched it a month ago, and it takes a few months to get the kinks out. And I'm looking forward to it getting up to steam. And then I'm going to start loading old content back on there. I'm going to get back to editing even older work.
Wow.
So a lot of fun. Yeah, it's as a photographer, it's awesome to look at old work because I think it makes you a better photographer. It makes me really anxious. Like I am desperate. Now, like I said, I cannot lift my arm right now, so I'm not getting on a motorcycle today.
No.
But I'm really looking forward to jumping on the bike, and I want to get out for a week or two with a camera and just go. I want to go shoot, and not with any plan, not to go to an event. I just want to go take pictures, and a lot of that comes from looking at do things a little differently, and I want to go again. I just want to keep going. How about yourself? What are you working on?
I'm actually working on getting off this island.
That's great.
No, I'm going to California next week. I know, I'm so excited. I've been on this rock since March, but
and you're part of an exhibition.
Yeah, I was asked by the San Francisco Airport Museum. There's my website, by the way, where you can look at my books and whatever else I'm doing. But they're doing an exhibit. They have this wonderful museum inside the San Francisco airport. And what airport has a museum? And it's an actual accredited, one of the only ones in the world that has an amazing museum. And they're going to do an exhibit on early American motorcycles. It's going to open up in February. And the guy found my book and he looked at some images of some early motorcycles. And he said, "Hey, I'm looking for a Cannonball bike." And I was like, "Well, I happen to have one." So I got Miss Effie, my 1915 Harley. I'm going to take her down to San Francisco. And I told Pat, maybe my husband, that's a good excuse. I won't have to be able to ride in the next Cannonball if I put her in a museum. Otherwise, I'll be tempted to take her out again. But,
Effie's a perfect bike for a museum show because Effie has her history, your history, right?
Yeah.
But then the history of Effie Hotchkiss. And so there's so much wrapped up in that bike. And there's so much thought behind it, so much passion behind it, so much history, and, really blood, sweat, and tears. Think of all the people that worked on it, including Athena.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
So a lot of people had part of it, and Gumby has a lot of meaning for a lot of people.
Gumby's right here. Look, I brought him. He took his mask off. He's been.
And by the way, we sent the museum that photograph they requested of you riding. Yeah, we sent it today to sent Effie and you off.
It's great. Yeah, it's just I've done 3 cannonballs on that bike, and she's so used to being out. She doesn't want to be stuck in the garage with no one looking at her and admiring her. So I'm like, okay, we'll load her to the museum.
You know what? I think you may end up on the Cannonball, even if Effie's in the museum, because I know the one time you didn't come, somehow you ended up on the Cannonball. Like you weren't on a bike, but you had to be there.
I was
right?
the angel of death. I was the sweeper. Yeah, and
You
it was
were. You're the
a
angel of death.
thankless job. Nobody liked you. By the time they saw me, they were broke down, ready we have to pick you up. And then by the time you get in the evening, most of the food was gone. So,
I think
but it
you
was
have
all
to
we
come.
could do. Yeah, well, we'll see if they'll
You have
have
to come.
maybe I could be on the staff or something. I
Well,
can help with the quiz, Jason.
There you go. You could do that, but I think maybe you could ride another bike. Or, you know what? Maybe you'll have a team and swap bikes the way Shinya does. Shinya and Nimi have a few women, have an all women's team that kind of chip in together.
Well, I know a few women who would really want to ride on it.
And that would be cool. Just not going for the points. You just go for the experience and say we did it together. That could be pretty cool.
I have to look at the year. I think it's 30 and earlier, so I don't know.
Oh, come on. You
That'd
got to
be
do
good
it.
because on the days when it was raining or something, I wouldn't have to.
There
Isn't
you
it your turn to ride?
It wouldn't be the same without you. You got to come.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll plan on something. I'm sure I won't be able to stay home. You know who I am.
That's
Anyway,
right. I do.
So I'll be doing the show next week from California. So
Oh, wow.
kind of exciting.
You got to take your gear with you.
I am. I have to pack up the microphone and everything, and my husband. Anyway, I want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to our sponsors again, Cris and Heather.
No, the Cycle Source crew is awesome. They do such a great job.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. And anything else, Mike, before we sign off?
No, I think that's it. A good week, good crew, and we'll have another good show next week, next Tuesday. I hope everybody tunes in.
Right on. I'm going to go watch a debate.
I am too. We got it on delay, so I think we can only create so much commotion. We're too convivial, right? We get along too well, and people get bored. They want to watch something more exciting.
Yeah, let's go watch someone else. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you all.
Thanks again.